Have you ever truly contemplated the agonizing reality of millions of human lives systematically transformed into mere commodities for global profit? This monumental tragedy stands ranked as the 61st most significant event in the entire recorded history of human civilization. Our investigation today will dismantle the complex layers of institutionalized exploitation that defined the Atlantic world for over 4 centuries. The story begins along the diverse and culturally rich coastlines of Western Africa, where complex civilizations flourished long before foreign intervention. Sophisticated political systems and intricate social hierarchies governed these regions, providing a foundation for established cultural traditions and internal commerce. The arrival of European maritime powers introduced a devastating catalyst for social disruption that would eventually destabilize entire continental regions. Economic interests rapidly prioritized the extraction of labor over human dignity, leading to the creation of a global network of suffering. Internal conflicts within the African continent were often exacerbated by external demands for labor, creating a cycle of instability and disruption. Coastal kingdoms expanded their influence through military force, capturing individuals from interior regions to satisfy the growing maritime trade. The forced march to the coastline involved immense physical suffering, as individuals were bound together and moved across vast, unforgiving landscapes. Many did not survive the grueling journey to the coastal fortresses, where they would await the arrival of Atlantic transport vessels. Upon reaching the coast, captives were held in oppressive stone cells known as barracoons, where they were stripped of their identities and autonomy. These coastal hubs served as the final points of departure, before the harrowing journey across the Atlantic began in earnest. The tight pack method of ship loading systematically maximized human cargo at the expense of all basic biological needs and psychological well-being. This industrialized approach to human transport resulted in staggering mortality rates during the months-long passage across the ocean. The Middle Passage represented a horrific industrialization of human transport, where millions were shackled in the dark holds of ships for months. Over 12 million individuals were estimated to have been forcibly moved across the ocean during the peak centuries of this commerce. Upon arrival in the New World, the transition to the status of a commodity was finalized on the auction block, where families were routinely and cold-bloodedly separated. The commercial logic of the era reduced complex human identities to physical attributes and estimated agricultural productivity. In the colonies, the grueling labor on sugar and tobacco plantations fueled the growing wealth of the Atlantic empires at the cost of countless lives. The economic success of the New World was inextricably linked to this systemic exploitation of African labor. In the colonial mines of South America, enslaved individuals faced incredibly hazardous conditions while extracting the precious metals that funded European expansion. The physical toll of this labor was immense, characterized by long hours in dark, poorly ventilated environments with minimal sustenance. Despite the overwhelming oppression, the spirit of resistance remained unquenchable, with clandestine meetings and organized revolts occurring throughout the centuries. Enslaved people fought to preserve their humanity, culture, and dignity in the face of absolute systemic violence. Spiritual practices and clandestine community gatherings provided essential psychological refuge and a means of preserving cultural identity under extreme duress. These shared moments of hope and faith were critical for maintaining the collective will to survive and resist systemic oppression. The physical tools of captivity, the iron chains and shackles, remain as haunting reminders of the industrial scale of this historical inhumanity. Every statistic represents a unique human life, a story of severed connections and enduring trauma across generations. The constant pursuit of freedom led many to attempt dangerous escapes, despite the ubiquitous presence of professional trackers and restrictive legal frameworks. Public notices for runaway individuals highlighted the persistent and unyielding desire for autonomy that characterized the enslaved experience. The expansion of the cotton industry in the 19th century intensified the demand for enslaved labor, shaping the economic and political landscape of entire nations. The rhythmic cycles of agricultural life were dictated by external market forces that prioritized production over the fundamental rights of workers. The moral tide eventually shifted as abolitionist movements gained momentum, utilizing powerful eyewitness accounts and legal challenges to dismantle the trade. Figures like Frederick Douglass used their own lived experiences to expose the profound hypocrisy of the systems of the era. Legal challenges and high-profile courtroom battles gradually began to erode the institutional foundations of the slave trade on a global scale. These landmark cases provided the necessary frameworks for the eventual abolitionist victories that would redefine the concept of human rights in the modern era. Reflecting upon these harrowing historical truths allows us to recognize the profound resilience of those who survived this systemic inhumanity. The legacy of the slave trade continues to shape contemporary global social dynamics, demanding our constant vigilance against modern forms of oppression. Thank you for your solemn attention to this critical historical record. 구독과 좋아요를 눌러주세요. 감사합니다.